to thanking them in person. The other thing we see are first responders from all over the area working seamlessly. Until you see their actual shirt up close, you couldn't tell one was from one department and another was from a different one. Thankfully, there's been a shift change, and most of the individuals that were out all night heroically fighting a massive fire that is under control with only a few hot spots left. Thankfully, most folks that were out late last night are sleeping if they can sleep, with a whole new group that is out. Why? Because these departments are sending everybody. They are all working together. It's an incredible credit to cooperation. In tough news of the day, our fatality count is now up to 11. I expect it to reach 12 possibly by the end of the day. And there are a handful of other people that we're still searching for that we hope weren't on site and that we hear were somewhere else. The other piece of news is we are moving from a rescue to a recovery mode. We do not expect to find anyone else alive in the area. Because of that, we now move and put the safety of the first responders at the top of the list. And so we're going to have limited operations at night, because if you walk through this debris field, it's very easy for somebody to get hurt. And we want to make sure that everyone on site is safe. After disasters, we have lost people. And I don't want that to happen here. Not from a heart attack through overexertion, not through somebody tripping and hurting themselves at night. So these individuals have sacrificed for us. They've shown such incredible bravery, and we're going to make sure that we put their safety first. FBI is joining us today with our special agent in charge. They're going to be working with the NTSB on cataloging the debris and with debris removal. What that means is they'll be working through all of those reports that are coming in through the city, who did a great job in setting that website up very, very quickly. That's actually one of the newest innovations that I've seen in response to something like this. So, Mayor, thank you for doing that. But the FBI is going to provide their agents to go to those scenes. So if you've reported debris removal and the FBI knocks on your door, that's the reason. I think that's just important for people to know. They are cooperating and helping in this investigation, and we are grateful for them, grateful for our special agent in charge. For the 11 that we know we've lost, we're really hurting for their families. We believe that we'll learn that there was one child in those 11, and a young child at that, which makes it all the harder. So please remember that the images of yesterday may fade in people's minds over time, but the trauma that these families that have lost somebody yesterday are going through is going to last for years. And so Louisville and Kentucky are loving communities. We take care of our people. We just got to make sure that we are as strong as we push through this one as we've been through every other one, and we do not forget those that have been impacted. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the mayor, and then we'll hear from the congressman.
Thank you, Governor Beshear. Thank you for your leadership since the initial moments of this horrible tragedy, and for the cooperation and partnership between the state and local federal authorities. This is another example, as the governor just said, about how everyone is working so closely together. What we just saw at the crash site is devastating beyond words. The impact and intensity of the wreckage, of the charred wreckage, is unlike anything I've ever seen before, and certainly nothing that I ever want to see again. The vast size of the debris field where the plane crashed in flames is completely heartbreaking. And our thoughts and prayers are going to be with the victims' families for as long as it takes for them to begin the recovery process, which certainly is going to take a while. We know that they're struggling with profound loss right now, with lots of questions. And we are incredibly thankful for the first responders that were on the scene within minutes, and that, as you just heard, are still on the scene, working incredibly hard to identify victims, to provide information, to help begin the recovery process. So thanks to everybody. It's another reminder of how fragile life is and how each of us should give an extra hug to people that we care about today, tonight, and every day and every night. We learned also earlier today that a good friend of Governor Beshear, Congressman Garvey, and mine is the owner of one of the businesses that has been devastated by this crash. I spoke to Sean just a little bit ago. He believes he has lost some employees, some customers that were at his location. It's just another reflection of the small town nature of this large city, Louisville, that we all live in, and how closely we are connected. And that's why we ask that we hug one another, support one another, contribute to the Team Kentucky Emergency Relief Fund, do whatever you can to continue that help others, starting with the victims' families. That relief fund is Team KY Emergency Relief Fund.ky.gov. And similar to other relief funds that the governor has organized in the past, every dollar donated will go directly to those who have been impacted. We're joining together, the city, the entire state, anyone from around the nation or world that wants to contribute. So the investigation, as mentioned, is underway. We will continue to provide information as it's available. We believe now that we're in the recovery phase, these updates will become a little less frequent. They might be via other means, but we will continue to provide information to the entire community as soon as it's available. And we'll continue to be available for questions that the community has. Again, our Family Assistance Center will continue to be there as long as it's necessary to help the families. And we're so incredibly thankful for the outpouring of support that we've continued to see throughout this day, just as we always do anytime there's a tragedy. I'm now going to turn it over to Congressman McGarvey.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor, always for your steadfast leadership in any moment, for always bringing everyone in our Commonwealth together. We are grateful you are here and for marshaling all of the state's resources. Our Mayor, also, your leadership is incredible in this issue. Being on the ground nonstop, the three of us in communication, making sure federal, state, local resources are here. You all have both been incredible leaders in this moment, and I think it shows who we are. Go home and hug your kids. Go home and hug your loved ones tonight. Go hug your neighbors. This hurts. Yesterday, it was a Tuesday at 5:15 in the afternoon. And it is going to change people's lives in this community forever. The skies over Louisville looked apocalyptic last night. People scared all over our community. Debris falling, ash falling, people sheltering in place. My family, one of those families. But what the three of us just went and witnessed at the site, it's like a scene out of a Terminator movie. It is burned and mangled wreckage beyond anything I've ever seen. The smells, the sights. These are things that are not going to escape us when we close our eyes tonight. Go hug your loved ones. Check on your neighbors. People are hurting right now. But it's in these moments of pain when I do, like the governor said, see signs of hope. The people at Stooges who were there last night checking on their restaurant, which somehow went unharmed, opening up the bathrooms for people today. The outpouring of food. This is when you know you're in the South. I think our first responders have enough food right now that they're going to be well fed for a long time. The emergency personnel, the first responders, the Oklahoma Fire Department, who ran head first into a blaze, the destruction of which we saw today. I can't imagine what it was like, but it was described as hotter than hell and raining down oil. They ran head first to protect, to do everything they could to save what they could. That's the spirit we're going at this with. That's why you see the federal, the state, the local level working together. I know that I've been on the phone with NTSB nonstop. The mayor and I were there to greet them as they got off the plane today. They are here. They have a dedicated team. The full resources of the federal government are being brought to bear on this. And we are working with everyone, the entire delegation, especially our senators, Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul, Congressman Brett Guthrie. I've spoken recently with Congressman Andy Barr, asking what he can do as well. The state, the local groups are assisting the NTSB. They're in control of the investigation now. I think it's important to talk about some of the things they want highlighted. They are going to do their best to get us answers. As much as we're hurting right now, we want those answers quickly. They want to make sure, though, that they're both thorough, that they're right, and that they're showing respect for everyone involved. We will continue working with them and giving them everything they need. They are also asking people to contact the NTSB if you have debris that you believe is from an airplane in your yard. Contact them. You can email them at witness@ntsb.gov. Witness@ntsb.gov. As the governor said, and as a special agent in charge of the Louisville office has mentioned, you could have FBI agents coming out to retrieve that evidence. Do not be alarmed. Just like our local and state agencies are working together, our federal agencies are working together. The FBI is working with the NTSB because just as the NTSB is they're experts in reconstructing these types of accidents, the FBI, they are experts in collecting evidence. That's what they are doing. We will continue to work together because there's so much work being done. And I want to call out some of the unseen work being done as well today. The site where this happened is unbelievable. But all around this place, people are working. Yes, it's our first responders. It's the people who are at the airport today. It's the pilots. It's the people at UPS. It's the people who are having to go back to work today and somehow carry on as if it's normal. Air aviation is a small community. As we all know, Louisville is a small community. If you don't know someone directly impacted by this, you know someone who does. And that's why it's important we lift each other up. We lift up the people who are doing the work on the ground. And I know you have the commitment from our incredible governor, our great mayor, myself, and all of the agencies involved that we will work together to get as many answers and get as much relief as we possibly can.
Yeah, that's fine. One thing we mentioned, we forgot, is JCPS is back in school tomorrow. So, for our firefighters and first responders to render the area and general area safe, at least outside the crash area itself this quickly is pretty special, and everybody is going to benefit from it. We'll open it up to questions. The one thing that we will not do is speculate on the cause, even with videos that are out there. That's what the NTSB is here for. And I wouldn't describe what I'm willing to do as being patient, but I will be reasonable, understanding that they do need to gather that evidence, but there is a lot out there. And at least for me as governor, my expectation is this can't drag on for years. We're going to need to get some answers in a time frame to where if we need to take additional steps, we can do that. That's what's important to me. Yes.
Capriello with NewsNation. You mentioned a child being one of the deceased. Obviously, I know a lot of this is sensitive and protected information. Can you just give us any more context in what a child might have been doing in this sort of commercialized area of business? And then on top of that, if there is anything else you could tell us about the victims and maybe...
So identities of the victims will be released by the coroner. I will tell you that the coroner was on the site removing bodies as we were there and as we were leaving. And so that process is moving right now. I will say that the condition may make it a little more difficult to identify some. That may take some testing. But I'm certainly going to convey, having all of us been through an incident where we lost a friend and it took a long time for us to hear, that it's really important to get that news, especially to the families, that while they want to be 100% sure, being 98% sure is enough to start talking to these families and letting them process their grief. I think most of these families have been generally identified, have shown up looking for their loved ones. And then what this business is both people can come looking to purchase parts. They can also sell different materials there. So this is probably a family or part of a family that was here with the parent doing that part of either the buying or the selling.
Any of the deceased, anyone that was already in the hospital or anything like that, or is this just?
I do not believe any of the new numbers that we've announced today are in the hospital. I believe those two individuals are still in critical condition or are still in the hospital but have not passed away, at least to my knowledge.
Mayor, do you know how many businesses are affected, either damaged or closed from this, or are you still figuring that out?
So we don't have an exact number for you, but given the large area that's closed off right now, restricted for emergency vehicles, there are a significant number of businesses that are impacted. You just heard about One Stooges, that's a restaurant right there, but there are a lot of other operating. River Metals is across the street there. Lots of businesses all along that street that, while they might not have direct damage from the incident, their business right now is not accessible. We need to let our first responders do that, but of course we're going to try to let businesses get back open as soon as we safely can, consistent with the investigation.
You mentioned Kentucky Petroleum getting bought out.
Yes, and also we've been talking about the other business that is in the path of the destruction, both Grade A auto parts that we were just talking about, where we know the owner. Then there was also Kentucky Petroleum that has a new name, I think, as a result of some ownership change. I believe it's GL Environmental. So that's the same company, but a different name. We were on their property as well, viewing some of that horrible wreckage.
What else can you share about the person who you do know who owns the business, Grade A Auto Parts, you were just alluding to, and the connection that you guys have to him?
Is a personal friend of the three of ours that we've all known for a while, and he is in grief for the loss of employees, of customers, seeing his business literally now having gone up in flames, being charred ruins. We'll be there for him as friends, and we'll be there for all of the businesses that are impacted and their ownership group and their employees, just as we are for the victims of the family. Again, tragedies like this impact so many people in so many different ways. That's why we continue to encourage people to call 988 to seek other help that we've provided the phone numbers for if people want to talk to somebody. This has an impact far beyond the victims who were killed by this fatal tragedy.
Let me add, if I can. The mayor advised me as I arrived today whose business it was. I've been there. I've taken a tour of it, seeing how the operation works. He works there with his sons. They take their dogs to work. Got a lot of great employees there. He knows everyone that's on that lot, and I just can't imagine how this feels for them today.
And Governor, moving into the recovery mode instead of the rescue mode, how is that impacting the emergency personnel? Are numbers going to be going down?
Yes.
People who are on the site?
The numbers on the site are already down significantly from fighting a giant blaze. We were able to do a shift change, so most people are now getting some sleep. When we've got a couple of the fire trucks that are still on site, because you got a couple of hot spots and they're right there ready for them watching. You'll now have more personnel from NTSB and others that are on. You'll still have people until we get through the entire grid multiple times doing the search for any other bodies, because that's all we're going to find at this point, unfortunately. And so you'll see them reduce from that point as well. You're going to see at least a few emergency personnel and ambulances stay to make sure if anybody's hurt on the site that they get that help immediately. But I've got to say, to be able to put out a blaze like that and to be able to stabilize a site this size from a giant airplane filled with aviation fuel this quickly, get kids in school the next day is pretty special. And I'm amazed by not only the training of all of these different groups, but their ability to work so seamlessly together. It's a lesson that we all ought to take and try to put into practice.
Governor, earlier in Kentucky, you talked about the 16 families that were still looking for loved ones and how that number might change. Do you have an update for that?
I don't. I'm hoping some of them have found their loved one. Again, I think the number 11 is going to increase. I hope it doesn't increase significantly. Anybody else? All right. Thank you all very much. And I have not, but we're speaking to all the different agencies that are involved. We're getting everything we need from the federal government. So, no criticism. As long as we get the help we need, that's all that matters. No D, no R, just all of us showing up, doing the best we can for our people. Thank you all.
Thank you all very much.